Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kendall. Welcome to my February TBR. I mentioned it in my February reset, but I really did not stick to my January TBR. I'm hoping to change that this month. I'll link January's TBR down below in case you want to watch it, but I literally think I read 2 out of the 5 books, which is not great. So hopefully February is the month I can actually stick to my TBR. I am a mood reader that I'm trying to change that. Like January's TBR, I'm going to be using this stack of cards that my friend Jenna made. They have a fun design on one side and then the other has a prompt, like for example, a modern romance. So we're going to be using those. Unlike January's TBR, I think I'm going to pick all 5 of them from the get-go and then not look at them, but go one by one and pick, just so I don't have to pause to shuffle after every turn. Without further ado, let's give these cards a very good shuffle and pick our cards. They're all shuffled. I am going to go ahead and pick the cards, but I just want to say the first book on my TBR for February is House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I'm actually in the middle of it right now. I think I'm like 32% of the way through it, but I know I'm going to finish that in the next couple of days or week. So that's the first book on my TBR. The first card is Leftmost Book on Your Shelf. So because I have multiple rows of books, I'll take a look at all of the books on the left side and go from there. Okay, so the leftmost books on my shelf are The Assassin's Blade, A Flicker in the Dark, Dance of Thieves, and A Winter in New York. Now, I have read The Assassin's Blade and Dance of Thieves, so I think I'm going to pick A Flicker in the Dark just because A Winter in New York is a Christmassy book, I believe, so I don't really want to read that right now. The book that I'm going to pick is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I believe this is a thriller. When Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and try to move forward with dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe's a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. While she finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she's worked so hard to achieve, she sometimes feels as out of control of her own life as the troubled teens who are her patients. So when a local teenage girl goes missing and then another, that terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there? Or for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? This is actually a debut story from Stacey Willingham, which I did not know. It's gonna be my first book on the TBR. I'm excited that it's a thriller and not like a fantasy. Our second card is a card that was picked last month, and that is A New Author for You. I think I'm gonna go with the same pick I did last month, which is Julia Quinn, The Duke and I. This is the first book in the Bridgerton series. I'm not gonna go too in depth into it just because it was picked last month. Hoping this month will be a little bit of a fantasy break, hopefully, just because I'm sure A House of Flame and Shadow is gonna leave me heartbroken, and so I'm hoping maybe I can switch it up with some different genres. The third card is one word title. I think I have quite a few books that are just one word, but let me take a look and see what to pick. Okay, so I have Icebreaker. I have, maybe I don't have as much as I thought, Belladonna. Bunny, which I've read. Is that really it? Okay, I don't have as many one-word title books as I thought. I think Belladonna is like a fantasy. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I'm gonna pick a book that was also on my TBR last month, so I apologize if this isn't super exciting. The third book I pick is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is starting to get a little familiar. I do know this book is a grumpy sunshine, I believe, and as I said last month, I'm pretty sure she is the grumpy sunshine. I'm not entirely sure. I'm excited to read this. I've been wanting to read this for a long time, honestly. He's the one thing she couldn't plan for. Anastasia Allen has worked her entire life for a shot at Team USA. It looks like everything is going according to plan when she gets a full scholarship to the University of California, Maple Hills, and lands a place on their competitive figure skating team. Nothing will stand in her way, not even the captain of the hockey team, Nate Hawkins. Nate's focus as team captain is on keeping his team on the ice, which is tricky when a facilities mishap means they were forced to share a rink with the figure skating team, including Anastasia, who clearly can't stand him. When an Anastasia's skating partner faces an uncertain future, she may have to look to Nate to take her shot. Sparks fly, but Anastasia isn't worried, because she could never like a hockey player, right? I'm excited for this. I know there is a second book in this series called Wildfire, I think. So looking forward to this. Our fourth card is starts with P. I'm not sure if I have any books that start with P, but let me take a look. I have Percy Jackson. I don't know if Percy Jackson counts because it's technically the Lightning Thief, but I have one. The fourth book for starts with P is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I've actually only read one Emily Henry book, which was Beach Read, but I have most of them. I think Happy Place is the only one I don't have. So excited to pick this up. I feel like I've said that about all of these books so far, but looking forward to it. I know a lot of people love this book. Poppy and Alex, Alex and Poppy, they have nothing in common. She's a wild child, he wears khakis. She has insatiable wanderlust. He prefers to stay home with a book, me. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they are the very best of friends. For most of the year, they live far apart. She's in New York City and he's in their small hometown, but every summer for a decade, they have taken one glorious week of vacation together. Until 2 years ago, when they ruined everything. They haven't spoken since. Poppy has everything she should want, but she's stuck in a rut. When someone asks when she was last truly happy, she knows without a doubt that it was on that ill-fated final trip with Alex. And so she decides to convince her best friend to take one more vacation together, lay everything on the table, make it all right. Miraculously, he agrees. Now she has a week to fix everything, if only she can get around the one big truth that has always stood quietly in the middle of their seemingly perfect relationship. What could possibly go wrong? Should be good. For our fifth and final pick of this month's TBR, our card is Two People on the Cover. Let me take a little look at my bookshelf. The book that I'm picking is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I've read Normal People and it's one of my all-time favorites, so I'm hoping I will like this. I feel like I haven't heard too much about this book, but we'll see. I also know there's a TV show. Frances is a cool-headed and darkly observant young woman, vaguely pursuing a career in writing while studying in Dublin. Her best friend is the beautiful and endlessly self-possessed Bobby. At a local poetry performance one night, they meet a well-known photographer, and as the girls are then gradually drawn into her world, Frances is reluctantly impressed by the older woman's sophisticated, home and handsome husband, Nick. But however amusing Frances and Nick's flirtation seems at first, it begins to give way to a strange and then painful intimacy. Written with gem-like precision and marked by a sly sense of humor, Conversations with Friends is wonderfully alive to the pleasures and dangers of youth and the messy edges of female friendship. I'm hoping I'll like this, but we shall see. That is it for my February TBR. Let me know down below what books you're hoping to read this month, and let's accomplish it. I'm hoping I can read all of these. Be sure to follow me down below on all of my social media links, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!